Hello, this is just yet another segment of like it or not. Yes, today continuing for our first session of how we got into tech. So now we will talk about what's our struggle with tech. So just I don't know yeah, but let's say I wouldn't use that analogy. So anyway, so even though you like something a lot, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah,
might be
yeah. I get
times
it.
you will get bored of it. Maybe
Yeah,
you
it's like with your girlfriend or your boyfriend,
uh,
you like
yeah,
them, but then you are together
yeah,
too long.
yeah, like the puppy love has gone, right? The
You
puppy love
know,
has gone. Now you have to live together, you have to
yeah,
pay bills, things like that. Yeah. You have to decide who does laundry, yeah, things like that. Yeah. So we talk about our, let's say, challenges. Not to say we hate doing IT because of this, but those reasons, but it did hamper it a bit, to be honest. So I will start with my own struggle first. So first of all, when you first start learning tech, right? So when you first in IT, you will learn the newest thing, just like everyone did. It's like when you get a new car, or all the things in your car are new. I mean, uh, so you're happy with it. But the thing is, after a few years, right? Uh, you will realize things that you have learned and used to, the things that you take for granted. So as a second nature, essentially, outdated. So to sort of you have to
yeah.
relearn
Relearn
it.
everything.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
sort of have to relearn. It's easier for us to relearn, but the things you have to relearn, and when you are sometimes a senior developer or things like that, you have to learn stuff. It's kind of I don't know, maybe it's the juniors will look at you at hey, are you sure kid there become my tech lead? It's like he needs to go. Are you sure? That kind of doubt. I don't
yeah,
blame them. I don't blame them about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you have to relearn. Actually, that's not the worst thing. Uh, Perhaps because when in IT, or any field for that matter, you will always need to relearn stuff. Even though let's say if you're working as a mechanic, cars do get updated, so you still need to
Yeah.
learn. But I think it's more prevalent in IT compared to any other world, because things get I think we get new stuff every 2-3 years. So
I think even more frequent than that. The
yeah.
changes are really rapid nowadays, and from my perspective, it's more about unlearning something. It's not like relearning something, because I think we are on the same boat here. As in, we started off learning from C. I think
Mm-mm.
is that your first programming language?
Yeah, I think because I only start programming in college, and I assume
Yeah,
as well, you, so we actually have a
we did.
favorite language.
We
Yeah,
did. We did take the same classes, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
at least in the same order.
yeah.
So it was C, C++, and then Java.
I didn't take Java. Yeah, but anyway,
Okay,
it doesn't matter.
and,
Yeah,
but you did start with C, right?
yeah. We did C, yeah, C and C++.
Okay, yeah. So I there wasn't like a functional approach in C back then. At least it
Mm.
was all like structural, top to bottom kind of
Yeah,
approach,
yeah, yeah.
right? So that was the first programming,
They do
I
have
guess.
functions. We did learn functions, but
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, we
not.
did,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not like like today's functional programming. It's a completely different, I guess, paradigm.
yeah,
And then we move on to C++, which is a object-oriented language
yeah,
or framework.
yeah,
And because we started so strongly on those paradigm, it was hard for me personally to move into like the functional programming or other kind of paradigm. So I had to, in a way, forget what I learned about object-oriented programming just to be able to, take on new ideas. Because you tend to move back to what you are familiar with. In this case, is object-oriented programming. And by doing that, because they are so different, it's really hard to learn new things.
Yep.
So that was my, I guess, challenge.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess I will have the same challenge. Like right now, like it's like when I first got myself immersed into Node.js, right? For example, like Node.js, Node.js is like basically everything is callback based. So like, we back in my college, like we don't really learn about callbacks that much. Like, but right now, like I mean, like if you do Android, if you do like callbacks are very common.
Yeah.
Like you can assign a, let's say, callback function to anything. And in C, like to use a function pointer is like far more complicated. Like whereas in JavaScript, we just do it like, or even like map function, right? Let's say like you can. We did learn this in Form 4, right? When you have you learn how to map a function, but to do this but to apply this concept is programming is another matter. Like it looks easy now, but just like I think in my first day of college, I learned about recursion. It took me like a week to get it. A week, 5 days. I mean, like intense 1 week just to get a concept of recursion. When I look back at it, like, how come I took a week to get this simple concept? But back then, like, it wasn't easy, and that's why, like, coming, like teaching people, right? Sometimes you get infuriated when like the juniors to get it, or students get so long time to get it, but like believe it or not, like I experienced the same thing, right? I mean, like like when like at least now, like when I thought about like I don't know, thought about before I wouldn't use the word bash. What's the more gentle word of bashing? Like let's say like you get my drill. Like before I would think about like I would think about that first. Like it's harder for them to learn things at first, right? I mean, like so
obviously.
So
but I think it can be equally as hard to learn things when you are so familiar with something else that is totally different.
And then that comes back to go ahead.
You go first.
Because and that's the reason why like people say that like it's easier for children to learn multiple languages.
Totally agree.
So like it reminds me
in a way, programming languages are some sort of language. Maybe the vocab is not as diverse or complicated, but it is.
I recall like I think like when we were in Inti, like there's one college one lecturer who claimed that he knows more than 30 programming languages.
I mean, I could claim that, but doesn't mean anything.
It's like like who knows, like he might just know like print hello or whatever. It's like I can say I know more than 30 languages, like, but I just learn how to say hello in 30 languages, like let's say like it's like that's how we thought back then. Like
I don't know, he was bragging or
I think he was bragging, but I'm not. I'm maybe he really knows a lot about that 30 languages. But like when we were when he was, I think we accused not him but like his colleague about.
Let's not get into
let's not talk about it.
It's just I think it's just an act of establishing dominance.
Maybe something like that.
To gain respect of your student. I mean,
in a way, people put that. And then my yeah, then my second issue is always about my struggle about programming is always about, like mm, just like every other field, like it's like we have issue with like collaboration, right? I mean, like, and the thing about dealing with developers is like
It's
how
very
I say, like,
different.
yeah, very different because like every developer, like even a junior ones, like I mean, it's as long as they're developer, they will have their own ego, like they will have like their thought
Yep.
of what works, which is respectable, like I mean everyone should have their own idea, like, or his or her own idea on what works and whatnot. So like, but the thing is like when people collaborate, right? So like you will need to come on a common idea. Like you cannot
Yep.
just let, let's say, like A do A, B do B. Like okay, even if you can split the task, right? So in the end of the day, there comes the task of integration, and
Yep.
that's when usually like things blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blow up,
Very
like
common.
and then like when it comes to resolution, it's like yeah, then we will need to have that talk together and things like that, like
Just use Git blame.
I don't
I
know,
mean,
like
it's a, it's a communication issue, I would say, because like I said, everyone has different idea, and then how do you come to terms with something that you might not necessarily agree? The approach or the way you write the code, for example. I think the way you talk to someone else is also very important, because if you go in too hard on someone, like they might become defensive,
yep,
and then at that point it's very hard to have a discussion.
yeah,
So you need to know like how to speak to different people with different tone. It's very much like how football managers work. Like different styles of player, you need like different kind of
yeah,
motivation.
yeah.
So it's totally like unrelated field, but then I think the concepts still apply.
And people and usually when you split tasks like that, right? So let's say like people, so like when you talk about so A who does A code, right, will have like, it's like,
Mm.
this is my territory. You're not supposed to
Yeah,
touch
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like that kind of like mentality. Like, so like
Mm.
which is fair. Like, I mean, which is fair. Like, but the thing is like it's something that over time you wouldn't expect one to be so like defensive. Like, I mean, like
Uh,
no, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe I'm one of, but I think I don't think I am, because like if somebody just point out anything wrong with my code, just thanks a lot. I even give recognition. Like yeah, you're good, man. Like brilliant. Like yeah, you got me. Yeah, very well. Like you got me. Yeah. I just
uh,
I just corrected my code. Like I don't have,
yeah.
but not every people like that.
I think
So
I
yeah.
think you touch on, I guess, the subject of, I guess, subject matter expert. So
Mm.
like a module that they have worked on for a long time, and then maybe you found some issue with it, and then you raised it up, and then they got defensive because they know the best, right? How would
Yep.
you know if you have just started to touch on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it still boils down to the communication issue. Like, how do you approach this? Maybe you want to, not as direct. Like, oh, I found this problem. Like, can you let me know, like, why is this happening? Or some other softer way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is that, but the issue that you describe is slightly different, because like you don't really know, like it's like let's say it's like taking a car, for example. Let's say like I go to a mechanic. Let's say like, oh, I don't know why my car can't start. Then you just say,
Mm,
oh, then you go do it. But the thing is like sometimes the difference is like when he was fixing the car, you went to him. It's like,
mm,
oh, actually the reason your car couldn't start is because of, let's say, I don't know. Let's say starter is broken. So let's say
yeah.
then like the mechanic would think like, yeah, wow, like that.
How would you know, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, like it's like, wow, like that, like
Like why even come to me?
Yeah, you might as well go fix the car. Like, yeah, but you might as well go fix the car yourself. But sometimes, like, but the thing is, like, except the car is his, so like, if you go and attempt to fix the car yourself, right? So like, they'll be like, hey, that's my code. Like, how come you're encroaching into my territory?
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that. Like, so like, it's like, yeah, I think the thing that I want to repeat is like the issue will occur anywhere else. Like, it's like even with other other department or other fields like people, but I think software developer is more prevalent amongst software developer. I'm sure doctors will have the same issue, right? Let's say like especially if you involve different parts of the body, right? So like if anything happens, you say, oh, this specialist didn't do his or her job, things like that. But I think it's more prevalent in software developer work. So like, yeah, I think. How about you? Like I mean, any struggle or?
I think both points you raise are quite relevant. Maybe to a different extent, because you are working in I guess a large corporation, when I'm mostly like a freelancing sort of thing. So I don't really deal with a lot of subject matter experts. So there's no one like, oh, he or her owns this part of the project. So I wouldn't say I face a lot of the same issue, but my struggle would be similar to what you have mentioned in your first point. It's very hard to keep up, especially with new languages or frameworks popping up like every maybe few months. So yeah, like how do you know, like, oh, there's something out there, there's better than X, or oh, you are doing this, then you should definitely use this latest framework instead of the established one. Like how will I know? Do I need to like really subscribe to every kind of newsletter?
Yeah, we knew one friend who does that. He goes to a lot of talks, hackathons, events, like things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he still has a passion, but not, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I'm still passionate in learning new things. It's just that, oh, there are so many new things out there. Like, which one should I choose? Like, I would say I've experience in many languages and frameworks. And when it comes to a new project that I need to build, I will have a preference most of the time. Like how will I know that my preference is not up to date? Like, oh, there's this new framework that is so much better than my preference. Like, how will I know that? Like, it's all good, like going to different events and signing up for newsletters, but it still takes time, and it's, for me personally, it's really hard to keep up. I don't claim that I try really hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Maybe